Welcome to our last preseason show before the start of the 2026 MLS regular season, which the Seattle Sounders kick off on Sunday night against the Colorado Rapids at Lumen Field. We're laying this one down on Wednesday evening at the new Sounder at Heart studio space in the ID. And yeah, exciting times. A lot of preseason takes, a lot of narratives, and now the true journey is set to get underway. We're going to be laying down some predictions for the 2026 Sounders season, which have famously always aged really well and never backfired. I've never had a prediction not age well, particularly about Atlanta United. And we've got a couple of other news items and updates to hit. Noah, what's up, man? Season starting in a few days. How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling excited for these predictions. I wrote down some stuff that I think everyone is going to be surprised by, but that's what we're here for, good content. So let's jump into it.
Yeah, no, excited to get into it as well. And I'm mostly excited to have real games to cover, but I think it's going to be fun. We're going to lay down our prognostications and then keep track of them throughout the year and then see who was right and who's an idiot at the end of the year. So it's going to be good stuff. Before we get into it, shout out to our sponsors, Hakes and Ferments, Full Pull Wines, Podium Menswear, and also, if you have yet to pick up your new Evergreen State Kit, LobbingScorchers.com/kit. Use that for your order, and that's a great way to support the show. Noah, we ready to lay down a pod here?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. We're gonna hit a few Sounders news items first. They're not like major headlines, but let's get them out of the way off the top, and then we'll jump into the predictions. And the first one that I wanted to hit was an injury update, timeline update on one Pedro de la Vega. Brian Schmetzer gave one on sports radio KJR via our friend Jackson Feltz.
Which we were just on as well.
Yes, shout out. I'm just going to read the exact quote, and then we're going to react to it, okay? He says, I am not expecting to see him until right around either just before the World Cup or just after the World Cup break. So that is a slightly longer timeline than I think we were under the initial impression that I was going to take. I think when he first sustained the injury in the New York Mets outfield on decision day last season, the timeline people have been kind of talking about was more like April or May. Now we're talking about, World Cup more like the summer. So I like he'll be back theoretically before mid-season, but closer to mid-season than the beginning of the season, I think is a fair way to put it. So Noah, you've been on the agenda. You're at your kind of wit's end with the situation, as I understand it. And that was before this news that the timeline is going to be longer than we anticipated. So why don't you just give your reaction to the quote, and then I'll give my reaction to your reaction.
I think I'm continuously done with the situation. That's exactly what you said. How much longer are we going to sit here and be like, yes, our DP spot is worth 10 games a season. Our DP spot is worth 20 games a season. Our DP spot is worth a player who doesn't even start a majority of the games. I understand this is a freak injury. The Mets outfield is cursed. Not only is the baseball team cursed, but also, playing in an outfield should not be allowed. It's not allowed by FIFA, so why is it allowed by MLS? That's a whole other thing. I'm just done with him, man. Like, I think he is an incredible player. I really do. I think that he is someone who could develop into a superstar talent in MLS. We've seen him play amazing. I do not deny that. I don't deny his talent. I don't deny his pedigree. What I do deny is this like continued idea that he is not basically a failed signing. Someone who has contributed, but has not contributed enough in a designated player spot. A spot where you need to absolutely get every ounce of value out of. It's time to consider that this is a player you should be moving on. It is time to consider that maybe, just maybe, you got unlucky and he needs to start somewhere else and just cut your losses.
Yeah, so I understand the sentiment, and I think a lot of people share the sentiment. He has missed a lot of time ever since he's been on the team. There's no question about it. And MLS is a league where if your DPs miss as much time as he's missed, it can be very detrimental to the ceiling of your team. And all that is true. But I'm still not there yet.
How are you not there yet?
I'm still not there yet.
How are you not there yet? What more would have to convince you? He's literally not going to play half the season.
It doesn't change how I think about it being a couple months later than it did from the beginning of the season. I don't know about that, but I don't think moving off him in the summer window is necessarily like the best course of action. And here, let me explain. Number one, and you noted this in your take, but he's really, really good. Like
when he plays.
Really good when he plays. Yeah. To the point where we saw exactly how good he was last year when he was a huge reason why they won the only tournament that they won, scored a Puskas nominee in the tournament, was the MVP of the tournament, was a big reason they were able to take down Messi and the Barca boys in the League's Cup final in front of 70K. He had a great game that day. He had such a good game that Leo Messi was getting in his ear and talking trash to him famously. But the reason I think that's important is because the framing of it as a totally failed signing, I don't agree with that. I don't think you can say that. They won League's Cup last year in incredible, historic fashion, in large part because of him. Yeah, he didn't play a lot of minutes last year, but like they still got a trophy out of the season with him as not just a major contributor, but like the contributor, the MVP of the tournament. If you told me before last season that he was going to do that in League's Cup and take down Messi and the Barca boys, but you just didn't tell me how many minutes that he played, I would say that is a good return no matter how many minutes he played, because like you're trying to win trophies at the end of the day, and he did deliver on that last year. I don't know if they win that trophy without him, and that was a demonstration of the type of effect that he can have on this team's ceiling when he does play. So you're in a situation now where, yes, he busted his knee in the Mets outfield. He's not going to be back till later in the season than you expected. But the other thing is, I think that a lot of teams in MLS, they would be in a situation where if he missed that much time, it would be so detrimental to their roster and their ability to take results that you would have to move on from him. You would pretty much have to, no matter how talented he was. This roster's not in that situation. This team also showed last year that they can take results and be competitive without Pedro de la Vega. They're very, very deep, specifically at his position.
Which is an even bigger reason why they should move him, because they don't need him in that position. It just doesn't make any sense to me, Ari. Yes, exactly. When you have a designated player playing on the field with this roster, you win trophies. But guess what? When they didn't have him on the field, you know what happened? Minnesota United happens, okay? You can't tell me if he wasn't playing that he would have been an impact player. I agree with you on his talent. I agree with you on his pedigree. I agree with you on the fact that he was the reason that we won League's Cup. That's not my problem. That's not my interest. My interest is the fact that he is yet again going to play less than half the games in the season, not even going to start close to half the games in the season, and he's coming back after the World Cup, and we know how Brian feels about treating him on his injury ramp up. He's probably going to play 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 45 minutes here. He's going to re-aggravate it, go back to 10 minutes. Who knows how many starts he gets this season? I think that could be a under-over for our predictions later in the show, because genuinely, how can that be good value? How can that be good roster building? You get 3 of these spots. I don't deny his talent, but if that spot of the 3 most important, most valuable spots is not even seeing half of the matches in your season, he's not starting half the matches, how can you tell me that's good value? It doesn't make any sense. You can find a Pedro de la Vega replacement. Believe me, you can do it. You can do it. It's possible. It's a designated player spot. You can spend as much money as you possibly can.
I'm not saying it's impossible to find a replacement. I think it is going to be really hard to find a replacement that
plays more games.
The other thing,
sure,
I
or
like the
games.
Minnesota United series. I don't think they lost that series because one of the attacking DPs was hurt. They scored 7 goals in the last 2 games of that series. Like, I think that's actually an example of that they were able to function offensively
we should just have 2 DPs
at an extremely high level.
And 4 U22s.
Well, what I'm saying is I think this roster is deep enough and showed last year that it can take results without him enough where you can
keep him on the roster. Just keep paying him.
You can afford to give it one more
no,
go. You
we've
can afford
given
to
it
give
enough
it one more
goes.
go.
We've given it enough goes.
Just one more.
Why?
Just
You're
one more.
addicted. You're addicted to Pedro de la
I'm
Vega.
addicted to Puskas nominees.
You're addicted
yes.
to Pedro de la Vega.
I'm addicted to players
even win.
that are that good. He should have won. He
didn't even win. He didn't even come close to winning.
His was that was the voters getting it wrong. All right, his was better than the one that did win, and I don't remember which one that was, but his was better. And just one more.
We have to think with logic here, Ari. We have to think with logic here. If this was any other team and you were analyzing them, and you said, "Yeah, this guy is really good, but he's only playing this many minutes," you would say that's probably not the best place for that roster to be spent. We talked about this with Ricky Puig. He's an incredible talent, but they didn't put him on the season-ending injury list, which then they ended up almost spooning. Now they put him on the season-ending injury list. They bring in another DP. How is that going to be successful? I don't know. Very different situation. But it's the whole thing of, like, sometimes you have to make uncomfortable decisions to be competitive even more than you already are. Another DP in this team that's actually playing explosive. You can't deny that we would be close to the contenders of anything. Who says that we couldn't get a player like Son? I'm not saying that our front office would do that, but you never know. With an open DP spot and in the summer window, when all of these players are available after the World Cup, who knows, man? Who knows? You have time to court people while they come here in the U.S. I think this is the perfect opportunity to move this player, to bring someone in who is on a national team and who's seeing the U.S., who's seeing Seattle even, maybe. Who knows? Mo Salah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I know I'm not saying Mo Salah should replace him, but it's just the thought is there.
I understand the sentiment. I understand the frustration, and I'm not mad at him. He's missed a lot of time, and it is obviously a very important high leverage roster spot. It's a DP roster spot.
No. It's not a high leverage roster spot. It is the most important roster spot. You have told me that consistently. Told me that consistently.
His spot specifically?
No. A designated player spot is the most important spot.
That it is the most important spot. That is how it's structured. It's what you get to spend the most money on the best players on.
And that's why
but I think when you have one as much depth as they have, and also you've already won a trophy with him as a focal point and a leading contributor. But that's not the whole point of roster building.
He's not even going to be available
DPs
for that
and
trophy.
All that. He was available for it last year, and then he had a freak injury in the Mets outfield. All right, like that. I understand in the context of all the other injuries that he had. It is frustrating, but I think to say that you got to move off him because of that, I think it's a little bit of an emotional reaction.
I think you're rationalizing and being emotional about it way more than I am.
Am I coping?
Yes.
And rationalizing? Yes.
Which I think
I am. But he's also hella good. So I think that is an important argument that you have to take into account. And I think the depth of the roster plays into how they can approach it differently than another team.
You can be even more deep. You can be even more talented. Why would you want to settle with what we have right now when there is an opportunity to take that spot and get someone who can come in and play? I don't understand that. I don't get that. Get what you can for the player. There is clearly interest because he is good. You're telling me the Liga MX club wouldn't ship off $5 million for him? I think they would, even injured. So I don't know what to tell you, but I'm not. You can't get me behind it. And I sound like such a hater of Pedro de la Vega. I love the kid. I love the way he plays. I love the fact that, you know, he has gone through all these ups and downs. I do believe in him as a player, but this is about roster building. This is about being smart. This is about winning trophies. This is about, if I'm sitting there as a GM, what would I want to do? What would I be doing? And I think this is one where you have to be a little ruthless.
I mean, you know, I understand the argument. I understand the sentiment. I'm not there yet. I'm holding out. I'm coping. I'm rationalizing. Just
I'm going to check in with you every week on this.
Leave your takes on the De La Vega debate in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. You know, we're on different sides of it. So, I mean, it's good discourse, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait it out. They're going to ramp him up. They're going to bring him back and go from there. And if he picks up where he left off when he was playing last year, I think that they have a great chance at winning more trophies and achieving everything that they want to achieve this year.
He's not going to just pick up where he was, though. That's not possible.
Why not?
He's got to ramp back up. He's going to have to get more comfortable. Every injury you take, you have to relearn that confidence. You have to retrust your body. It's a challenge. It's not about the fact that he's literally physically capable. It's also a mental thing. He struggled so heavily with the mental aspect coming in that first season. I don't blame him for doing that. He was a young kid who had the weight of the number 10 on his shoulders and then immediately gets injured and then doesn't play well when he comes back. I mean, it's been a challenge after a challenge after a challenge. I even think it's a good thing for him if he's able to move forward and try something new.
Not there yet. Not there yet. Not there yet.
Do you concede on any of my points?
I concede that it's been very frustrating that he has had as many injuries as he's had and he's missed as much time as he's had. And I concede that it's definitely not good that he's missed that much time considering he's a designated player. I mean, I would hope you would concede that they literally like won Leagues Cup over Inter Miami and the Barca boys, and they probably, I don't know, I don't think they do that without him. I don't. Like, that is the type of caliber of talent that we're talking about. That's not necessarily easy to find. That's not necessarily easy to replace. So, I mean, like, I also do think there's a lot to what I'm saying as far as like different teams with rosters in different states can afford to approach these things differently. And if you really believe in the talent, which I think he showed that the talent is there to believe in last year, then you're not in as dire a situation as maybe some other teams would be. And I get your argument about like affecting the ceiling in the short term and all that too, but I just think what we saw last year was when they had him going at peak capacity, they were looking unstoppable. They destroyed the Barca boys.
I think that it's funny though, because I completely think the argument that you're giving about this specific situation versus, oh, well, we really don't need him because look at the depth of our team. That plays way more into my argument. If there's such a depth and such a brevity of players, that's awesome. Then like, yeah, we can cut him loose. And if we miss on the next DP signing too, it doesn't matter. But the reality is like, you know, he's not playing anyway. So it's just using that spot. Like I can't really, I can't really see the logic in it.
Part of where I'm coming from too is that I feel like with this last injury in particular, where he did his knee in the Mets outfield, like, yeah, that sucks. And in the context of all the other injuries he's had and all the time he's missed, it was super brutal. But like, I hate the idea of like basing the decision to move off him on some shit that like he had no control over and really has nothing to do with like being injury prone necessarily. Like, that is a freak occurrence playing on a baseball field, and it doesn't necessarily indicate
I don't think
that it's like it's a guarantee that he's going to keep getting injured like this. Like that was a crazy. Like,
I mean,
situation.
none of it is his fault. None of the injuries are his fault. None of that is his fault. It's not his fault if he is or isn't injury prone. Being injury prone isn't necessarily like you are doing something, your body is doing something. Sometimes it's legitimately just you are an unlucky person. And I think Pedro de la Vega is truly one of the most unlucky people and players I have ever seen. Because you can have tremendous talent, you can have tremendous pedigree, but the fact is, if you cannot stay on that field and you can't stay healthy, whether it's through luck or body or whatever it is, that's just what you are. It's not your fault. And again, I don't blame Pedro de la Vega for any of this. I like him a lot. I like him as a player. I want him to succeed. I would love if he would be able to play 90% of the matches. I wish he was as durable as Albert Rusnak. But the reality is, Albert Rusnak is a Major League Soccer DP. Pedro de la Vega is a TAM player. That is the truth.
Because of the injuries? Like,
yes, he played less minutes than Danny Musovski. Danny Musovski had more contributions to winning that League's Cup, in my opinion, than the MVP. He had more goals.
You think Danny Musovski was the MVP of League's Cup?
No. I'm not saying he was the MVP of League's Cup. What I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure he had more goal contributions in League's Cup than Pedro.
I mean, I don't know about their goal contributions, but De La Vega was absolutely insane in League's Cup. He was dominating every game, and he scored a Puskas nominee, and was a big reason that they destroyed the Barca boys. So, like, that has to be taken into account. Did he have
what the final? Did he have an assist in that game? Was it?
I'm not even talking about the stat sheet.
Oh no, so it's just vibes. It's just vibes on the final.
How well he played. Like, are you denying that?
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying
well?
it was vibes based, not stats production based.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't know what his exact stats in the tournament were, but he did win the MVP of it. So they were probably pretty good. And like, he looked incredible.
Just look up the stats.
He looked incredible.
We'll get a fact check on it. League's Cup.
I mean, I don't even see the point you're trying to make because he won MVP of the tournament. So,
I mean, plenty of people win the Ballon d'Or that don't deserve it, but that's just the reality.
Okay, so now, this is crossed into hater territory.
I'm not a hater.
Saying that he didn't deserve to be League's Cup MVP because you want to move off him because he blew out his knee in the Mets outfield.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the fact that it is time to confront a harsh reality, and I don't think that you are ready to do that, and that's okay.
No, I'm not. I fully admit that I'm coping.
You got to jump out. You got to jump off the plane sometime.
I fully admit that it's coping and rationalizing, but I also know that he's hella good, and they won League's Cup last year in large part because of him. And I don't think that they beat the Barca boys like that without him. I don't, and there's got to be some weight to that. There's got to be some equity to what he has contributed, which has been the whole. They
wouldn't be in that situation if Ryan Kent wasn't there either. But they shipped off him and said Ryan Kent has no business playing for the Sounders. He has no place here.
All right,
Ryan Kent had just as much talent as Pedro de la Vega. Do we not agree? Do we not agree? Ryan Kent was insanely talented.
He's insanely talented, but I think de la Vega is better. I do. I think. I mean. I'm not going to debate Ryan Kent's contributions to the Seattle Sounders compared to. I mean,
he had the assist that literally allowed us to move forward in the one game. So I mean, I don't know what to say. He blew out his knee in honor of Pedro de la Vega, and in honor he gave his knee for the League's Cup trophy. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you can do it with a talent like Ryan Kent. I get it. You took him on a flyer and he was on a 1-year contract, but like, I don't understand what the difference is. They were ruthless with that guy. You don't think that guy could have contributed again?
I was one of the biggest.
If our roster was so deep, why couldn't we keep him? Even though he was injured.
I'm not going to dignify this. I'm not going to dignify this.
That's what I'm saying. He's a TAM player. He's not a DP.
De La Vega as a TAM player.
Yeah. You know who contributed more than De La Vega last season? Who's a TAM player? Who's that? Jesús Ferreira.
Jesus Ferreira did play 48 games last year.
Yeah,
I looked
exactly.
at it the other day.
Jesus Ferreira contributed more to this club than Pedro de la Vega has across his entire career in one season. He's played probably more games.
I guess I don't think you're giving enough equity and significance to the fact that
it was a run of 8 games. I'm sorry, that's not going to sell it to me.
That was important. The whole point of what we're talking about here is to win trophies, and if he contributed to that,
I
then
want players who can play the whole season.
That is value.
I want players who can play the whole season, so you have an opportunity to win at multiple different trophies. You don't have to win every trophy, but the more chances, the more bites of the apple that you get, you have a better opportunity. That's an important roster spot. Fine, have Pedro de la Vega on the roster, have him only play 15 games a season or 20, whatever, but he should not be a DP. Buy him down, whatever. I don't know how that works. I'm not the general manager of the Seattle Sounders. I love you, Craig. But that is, I just don't understand how that there's any rationalizing when there's players on this roster making half the amount of money that he does, contributing 10 times as much, way more durable, and I can't see it. It's the same thing. You're gambling on a ceiling. You're gambling on talent that shows up, but isn't there consistently. And maybe not because of the fault of his own, but you can't gamble on a designated player spot. You can't.
We'll see what happens. I am now passionately rooting for him to play 2,500 minutes, all comps this year, and prove you wrong, and shove it in your face. I know he's a good enough player to do that, and we'll see if he plays enough to do that. You're talking about it like in guarantees, He
literally is not playing until after the World Cup.
Last time I checked, you can't see the future. All right, so let's give him a chance to see what happens, see how much he actually does end up playing. Let the chips fall where they may. All right, let's keep it pushing. We just went like 30 minutes. Reed Baker Whiting transferred to Nashville SC. Officially went through. We talked about it on kickoff on Monday before it went official, but it is now Reed Baker Whiting is now officially a Nashville SC player. $800K plus $300K in add-ons, 20% sell-on clause. I've given my takes on it. I was saying on kickoff on Monday that I'm not a huge fan of this move. It's for a lower price than I would have wanted for this particular player. And also, it's a lot more to do with just the depth chart and where they're at left back. I think now you're in a situation where your backup left backs, it's the
Paul Rothrock.
It's the Paul platoon.
Ariola.
Yeah, it's the Paul platoon, which I think could work, but it just feels like a situation where you have to play players out of position if Nuhu's out. Where you theoretically RBW had been decided as a left back. That's where he'd been playing for the last year or two. So now you have no real natural left back cover for when Nuhu is out or has to go Cameroon or whatever. You're I think tasking the Paul platoon with playing that role, which I'm just not sure about. I think they can do it. I was the one who advocated for the Paul Ariola try him at left back agenda. He has done that in his career. I think, yeah, he ran that at FC Dallas a little bit. It wasn't his primary position, but they did put him back there at times. But he's a winger by trade. He's not a natural left back, or that's not something that he's done a heck of a lot in his career. So, I mean, I guess he's probably done it as much or more than RBW just because he's been playing professional soccer for so much longer. But anyway, still, it's just having two non-left backs as your backup left backs and selling a player that at one point was touted as highly as RBW for $800K. I know there's the add-ons, but I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan. So that's my take. Noah, where are you at now with a few days removed from the RBW trade and now that it's official?
I mean, I'm happy for him if he can get more minutes and he can develop. It's great for his career, which I think is always something the Sounders are thinking about. But yeah, I hate the price tag. $800,000 guaranteed, up to 1.1 million total with the additional add-ons, and they also have a 20% sell-on clause. But I don't think that is worth it for the roster spot, for a homegrown, for these roster hacks that we always talk about, someone who you can develop. He was occupying a U22 spot. Sure, that's just another roster hack. He was good value. I don't know why he wasn't playing as much. This year, again, kind of the same thing with the Leva trade. He seemed primed to get way more minutes. And I don't know. I really don't get it. I guess there was an opportunity for the Sounders to convert some more of that transfer money. It's GAM, right? You convert it into GAM. Yeah. Convert it. Like they had a little bit more space to convert more money into GAM so they could max that out this season. But is that really worth it to trade away a depth piece like that on a roster spot that it's a U22? I don't.
Now they have an open.
Now
U22.
they've got another U22. So
we get to do U22 discourse again. Yeah, I mean,
we should clickbait that again. I don't love it.
I mean, so
I like it for Reed,
Petkovic is now the only U22.
Yeah,
and you can have. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can have 3 U22s and 3 senior DPs.
Yeah,
correct?
Or 2
so
DPs.
They could
and 4.
theoretically go out and get a couple more. Honestly, what I think they should do with one of those spots, I'm just kind of thinking about this right now, but what I think they should do with one of those spots is do with Snyder B what they didn't do with Obed. You know, get out in front of that this time.
I mean, he doesn't have that many minutes though. That would be like signing Obed fresh off his debut in Austin.
That's what a lot of people are arguing that they should have done.
That's crazy. That's a lot of hindsight, 2020. But
okay,
he was that good. I agree. But like,
watching
I think,
what happened with that, because we were all like, man, Obed might be good, but we don't really know yet. And then they didn't. They probably figured the same thing. That's why they didn't jump early on the U22.
I mean, they're
and then
empty.
they ended up in that
Fuck
situation.
it, whatever.
Anyway, that's more something to think about that they could do, because
you get them through like 2028, 2029.
Everyone thinks of the U22s, I think, as like you have to go like out.
Yeah, they're a fishing expedition.
But like, and you know, that is a good, valid way to use them. But I think another good way to do it is, you know, what they did with RBW and what they should have done earlier with Obed, but didn't. Using them on your internal developed players, I think, is fine and actually smart in some cases. And there's probably we'll see which of these guys come to the forefront this year. Like that's something I'll be looking at. Like which of the young players put themselves in consideration for getting that U22 tag. And if it turns out to be Snyder B, great. But like, it's not the worst thing to have. At least, you know, they got 2 open right now. It's not the worst thing to have one of them open, so you can kind of decide how you do that, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would rather have RBW than this 800K plus add-ons, but
I mean, maybe it was his time to go. Like, I don't know how much Reed was pushing for it or not, but undeniably, if he can break into that Nashville team, they're going to be kind of nasty. We were talking about it today, and like that's a good team, and that's a good place for him to land. And BJ Callahan is a great coach for him to have. He's a good developmental coach. He plays a lot to that style that they're already playing there in Nashville. So I don't know. I feel like the Sounders got fleeced, but at the same time, sometimes that's going to happen. Like maybe this was our karmic justice for fleecing FC Dallas. Like,
can I point out something too, which is just, you know, just for the record, no one is calling Nashville SC unambitious for taking a flyer on RBW as one of their U22s. They're taking a similar approach to what Seattle did with Petkovic in the sense of it being just kind of like a dart throw that is not super splashy. It's not something that's going to get a lot of headlines, but I love that for them. Like it's a low stakes, high reward situation that they put themselves in for what they got the player for. And that is a way that smart teams use the U22s. They could have gone out and been like, we're going to drop a huge bag on whoever from wherever. And it in all likelihood, based on how these spots usually work, it would have been an even lower percentage game maybe than a guy like RBW, who at least has some MLS experience and has got some pedigree, and you know what you're getting a little bit more. So I don't know. I just wanted to point that out, that it's another example of how you can use these 22s in sort of like savvier roster hack kind of ways, as opposed to just being like, we need to go out and get like the next face of the franchise type thing.
Completely agree.
Last headline. Cristian Roldan. He had been limited or not training over the last week or so with what was called an Achilles thing.
Sore
Achilles. Achilles thing was not the medical terminology.
That's actually in the DSM or whatever.
Sore Achilles. So he hadn't been training, and Schmetz was.
Doc, he's got an Achilles thing.
Got the Achilles thing.
He's got the Achilles thing.
Schmetz was adamant that it was just like a precautionary, like he's taking pro days. It's not a big deal, but we're just being cautious. Season's starting. But for me, any time the word Achilles is said, I don't like that. I don't like that word. It's one of my least favorite words as it relates to the sport of soccer. And, especially with one of, if not the most important players on the team. But the update there is that Cristian Roldan, per Schmetz, is, quote, not 100%, but likely available for the season opener. So on one hand, I'm like, all right, they're talking about him as if he's going to play on Sunday. So if that's the case, then it can't be that bad or that worrisome. On the other hand, not 100% and likely available, but not definitely available. I'm not very, I don't like that.
Hassani Dotson, Snyder, Brunel rollout start to the season. How you feel about that?
I feel okay about that, but it's more about the long-term prospects of this team for the season. If Cristian Roldan is limited in any capacity at all, let alone dealing with Achilles stuff.
And he's got a World Cup match in Seattle to play. I need him to be healthy for that.
It's true. He actually, in all seriousness, he does have to be prepared and be healthy for that. So honestly, I guess I just hope that if there's like any chance at all that it could be something more serious if he pushes it too hard, just hold him out for opening day. It would be a bummer. We all want to see him play first game of the season, only home game for a while. It would not be fun to not have Cristian out there, but I just hope that they are as cautious as they can be with that one, because they need him. So
correct.
That's pretty much all I had on the Cristian Roldan Achilles situation. Did you
get well soon, guy?
Okay,
and and stay well. And stay well.
Well said. All right, we're gonna take
Achilles thing.
Achilles thing. We're gonna take our first ad break. Don't skip any. We'll be right back.
Hickson is a Seattle-based hot sauce and vinegar brand making some of the most flavorful hot sauce around. We've partnered up to craft a small batch, green blended hot sauce, fermented to perfection with bright flavor and medium heat. We love it so much, the label even has our faces on it. You sold out the first batch, so we made another. Visit lobbingscorchers.com/sauce to order, and be sure to check out the full line of Hickson Ferment sauces, including their limited seasonal flavors.
I'm Jessica with Hickson Ferments, and you're listening to Lobbing Scorchers.
Welcome back from the ad break, which you definitely did not skip any of the ads. None of you would ever do that. Noah, let's get in to our predictions for the Seattle Sounders 2026 season. Everyone's doing prediction shows right now. No Saudietas had their over-under show. Every club-specific podcast is doing their
getting out the crystal ball.
Getting out the crystal ball. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to not do over-unders because
gambling is bad.
Gambling is bad. No Saudietas just did that, and we're going to try and differentiate, make it our own thing a little bit. But
Jeremiah told me today that he's gambling. He's just constantly gambling. He's a 24/7 gambler.
Wow, J.O. the degenerate.
He's always in the Discord just looking for bets.
What an unexpected development. So what I've done here is I've got like the end of season awards that we did last year. Basically, it's a lot of those categories, but we're going to be predicting who we think is going to get them basically for the upcoming season. We've got MVP, Golden Boot, Assist Leader, Best Newcomer, Unsung Hero, Trophies Won, Defender of the Year, Breakout Young Player, where they're going to finish in the West, point total, and number of red cards, an important storyline after the Crash Out Red Card Boys dominated so much of the action.
Will
last
they
year.
repeat their Crash Out?
And then we got some player-specific ones after that. I wanted to just take some wild guesses on how many goals some of these attackers are going to score. And then we've got a couple other just minutes played, games started, and RBW Nashville prediction as well at the end there. So it's going to be, we're going to keep track of these, I think, throughout the year. And if anyone's takes are aging poorly, we're going to make fun of them. If anyone's takes are aging well, we're going to give them plaudits and congratulations. But mostly, I want to just lay down who we think are going to get these and sort of get a feel for what our expectations are for these guys this year. So you ready to lay these down, Noah?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with the big one. Who will be the Seattle Sounders 2026 team MVP? Last year, it was pretty much unanimous consensus, both officially and unofficially, that it was Cristian Roldan. I think the team itself actually gave him that. We gave him Lobbing Scorchers, gave him that. Noah, are you giving Cristian Roldan a repeat in 2026?
You know, after much consideration, especially for the most valuable player, which is the most valuable award, I thought a lot about it, and I love Cristian Roldan. I think he's going to be an absolute beast this year. But, you know, I also am scared how that World Cup is going to take a toll on him. I think he could be an important piece for that. Many people don't believe that, but I do. So I didn't go with Cristian Roldan.
Okay, I like it.
I went with Jesús Ferreira. Jesús Ferreira as the Seattle Sounders' most valuable player. I've been saying this on some other shows earlier this year. I truly believe this is going to be his season. I not only think he will be a Sounders MVP candidate, I think he will have a good enough season to potentially be a Major League Soccer MVP finalist.
It's a hot take, but I like it because you're getting out in front of it, and if it starts to cook, like, it's going to look real good. And I think we've been talking about it all off season, but I think everything is at least lined up for him to have a year two leap with Seattle. Last year he came in here, he didn't really know what his tactical fit was. It took a while to figure that out. He had to get integrated with the new team. That was a pretty long process. That took a couple months, honestly, for him to really even find out what his role was. Then I think it took a little bit of time even after that for him to fully acclimate to that role and figure out how exactly it fits on this team. And then once he did that, the goal scoring was not where we wished it was, but he does so many things that impact winning and positive results that even with the stat sheet production or the goal scoring production not being where we wanted it, he still had a really good year. And I've also argued quite a lot that he was victim of some snake-bitten bad luck last year in front of goal in a lot of ways that were really not even to do with him, you know, offside calls on goals that he finished that he wasn't the one offside, stuff like that. So it's all lined up for him to take that year two leap. And if he does take that year two leap, who knows what that could mean, but we do know he has one best 11 season on his track record where he scored 18 goals for FC Dallas. So he's shown that he can push 20 goals in MLS. Is he going to do that this year? That would require 15 more goals, all comps, than he scored last year. So that seems like a pretty big leap. But I mean, we'll talk about it. But like, I think double-digit goals is a reasonable expectation or hope. And I really think on this team really seemed to accentuate his playmaking abilities, which when you talk about MVP candidates, it's the guys who kind of like do it all, right? That's
how I see it.
And he could end up, if the goal scoring does take the leap that we hope it will, then that could I think it's not a crazy take to think that he could, like, people are going to call you crazy for that.
It's fine.
But because he only scored 5 goals last year or whatever, but like, I think there's reason to think that.
That's exactly like how I'm seeing it. It's more of a secondary assist merchant, finding those passes, that playmaking, scoring way more. He's going to score more than 5 goals. He's going to score more than 5 goals. And I think that in the same way that Cristian just became this like tempo setter and this like game player and this guy who you were really working through and playing through. And he was, you know, just such a serious and important part of the way that their offense and defense was running. I think the same thing's going to happen with Jesús Ferreira. I've been seeing it in preseason. He is a guy who sees that field and he knows his teammates so much better than he did last year. He looks good. MVP candidate.
I love the pick. But that being said, I'm going to take the Cristian Roldan repeat. I'll be the one to take it. I think what we saw last year is that he is the most important and valuable player to this team's success because of his all-around game. Like, you want to talk about a guy that affects winning in pretty much every facet. I mean, Cristian Roldan is like the poster guy for that. So I think that there's not much of a reason for that to change, I don't think, this year. But I also think just watching him play last year, I was thinking about this. Like, I think like sometimes your mental prime is different than your physical prime. And sometimes when you hit that like kind of 28, 29, early 30s age, your mental game and your just understanding of the game and your soccer IQ kind of just reaches this point of nirvana where you just have the game figured out. And I feel like he just reached that last year. He reached the pinnacle of like how he sees the game and how he reads the game and all that stuff. And it resulted in, I think, what was the best season of his career. So I think he's still, to me, he's still got at least a couple of those years in him where even if his physical abilities start to decline a little bit and he's maybe not as fast or can't cover as much ground as he used to, he's the mental game and the IQ side of it is just like so off the charts that it's going to allow, I think his game is going to age really well in that way is what I'm saying. So I like his chances of kind of just replicating exactly what he did last year when he was the team MVP. And if he does that again, then I think we're probably going to get to the end of the season again and be like, man, even though Jesús Ferreira had better stats this year, even though Albert Rusnak put up the same stats that he does every year, Jordan Morris had a bounce back year, whatever it is, I think we're going to probably get to the end of the year and be like, I think Cristian was just the MVP again. Like, I think that's what's going to happen.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he is the engine of the whole team. I think every national pundit has been talking about it as well. It's like, yeah, he's the focal point of this club. Like,
heart and soul.
Yeah, like he's not the DP, and he is the heart and soul and focus of this club. And that is something that's very unique about this team. So I really would not be surprised, but he's not going to win it.
I like the Ferreira pick. I think it's a good pick. All right, next up, who will win the 2026 Seattle Sounders Golden Boot? Noah, who you got?
This was a tough one, especially because there are so many different factors. Who is going to play that 9 position is still up in the air.
Is it though?
Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think it's a little up in the air.
It is TBD. I think I know what they're going to do to start the season, but that's not necessarily how they're going to keep doing it.
Correct. And from what I have seen in this preseason, from the jump that I have seen in this preseason from this player,
I like this.
I am not afraid. I am not ashamed to go out on a limb and say the 2026 Golden Boot winner for the Seattle Sounders will be Osaze De Rosario. That's right. He did it in MLS Next Pro. If he didn't get called up, he would have won the Golden Boot for that entire league. He has been a scoring machine. You want to talk about a guy who we would not have won the Concacaf or the League's Cup final without? That's your guy, Osaze De Rosario. He is the top scorer in preseason. He has been unstoppable against any opponent in this preseason. They are making him look like a menace. His play has taken such a step forward, and I would be shocked if he does not start in this first game. I think at that point, it's his spot to lose. In my opinion, Jordan Morris will play the wing. Osaze De Rosario will play the 9. When Osaze can't find that, they'll slot Jordan in at the 9, bring in another winger. And where does that leave Danny Musovski? That's a whole other conversation left to have because I'm sure someone will get hurt at some point. But the reality is, I see it written in the tea leaves. Osaze De Rosario, Golden Boot man.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's going out on a limb at this point with the preseason that he just had. I mean, that was that was crazy, and for me, it was kind of out of left field. I figured that he was going to come to camp ready to go and motivated and hungry and ready to prove himself, and try and make his case that he should get more minutes and have a bigger role on this team this year. So all that's not like super shocking to me. But I mean, that was legitimately the best camp I've seen someone have for this team in the last like 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I don't think I can remember the last time someone just came in and absolutely laid waste to the competition like that. And so you got to keep the preseason caveats in mind. For sure. Like, just because he was ripping it up in preseason doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to translate.
You're telling me we aren't playing Louisville City FC every week?
Not playing Louisville City FC.
SCFC.
But, he did it against Hammarby, too. Like,
that's true.
And also, it's just like, I don't know, watching him play in the preseason games and then also getting to watch up close like we did in the Louisville scrimmage, it just looks like such a different guy. So, there is always the possibility that it was a mirage. We get to the regular season. It turns out he was just beaten up on the USL championship team or whatever, and that everything we saw in preseason didn't really mean anything. But I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Like, this looks real to me.
Maybe
we'll see. We'll see. It's not guaranteed to be real, but it looks real to me. But all that being said, I'm going to make the case for someone else just for the sake of art. It's a good pick. I don't think that's like a crazy sleeper pick.
You would not have, if you took us back 3 months, if you wound the clock back 3 months to the end of the season, and I said, and you were like, I time traveled, came up to you and said, Ari, let me tell you something, buddy. My pick is going to be Osaze De Rosario. You would be like, that's funny, dude. That's a good bit.
Yeah,
that's a good
exactly.
bit. Yeah.
That's why what we saw in preseason was just so like, what am I watching right now? Who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? You brought this guy
Shake
in.
and
God
bake?
Damn.
Shake and
Shaking
bake,
and
buddy.
baking all over training
Get
camp.
ready to shake and bake.
But I'll take Jordan Morris because he is now healthy, knock on wood. But he actually looked really good last year when he did play. I think that gets forgotten sometimes. Like he didn't play that much. He had one. You want to talk about the unluckiest man alive? I think it might actually be Jordan Moore. The both of them, dude. It was honestly that's part of my thinking. Is it's like for both of them, I have a hard time. See, I don't want to even put this out there, but that happened. That type of bad luck happening again would just be crazy. I think he's going to play like he has normally throughout his career, that amount of minutes. And if he does that and is just the Jordan Morris that we've come to know and love, I think he's going to score the same amount of goals that he usually does, which is in that like 13 to 16 range. And I think that'll be enough. I mean, he had 18 all comps a couple years ago, famously, to get the escalators. And I think around that number, if he plays a full complement of minutes, is a reasonable expectation. And that should be enough to lead the team. I think the only kind of question is kind of what you've been talking about with exactly what his role is going to look like if Osaze is a starter. You're not super hyped on the idea of him as a winger. I think that, I mean, we've seen him do that a lot in his career. We know that he can do it. I also don't think the formation they're running has him playing as
sort of like a traditional
pure,
winger.
Traditional out and out winger like he used to play. They were doing that in the Louisville game, but I think that was more just like a point of emphasis for that game.
They were slamming balls between Nuhu and him.
I think they're gonna have him play more of a hybrid role where you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see him do winger stuff, traditional winger stuff a lot, but you're also gonna see him pick and choose his spots where he's playing closer to Osaze and more off of Osaze. And I think this kind of like potential hybrid role that we're looking at, that could be kind of fun. It could unlock something that we're maybe not even expecting, depending on how the relationship and partnership between him and Osaze goes, and sort of just what his role actually ends up looking like. Like if it turns out that he is just playing like pure wing every game, then I would have questions as to how effective that will be at his age, and also the fact that he just hasn't done that in a while. But I think if he adapts to this role, this kind of more hybrid role that we're talking about, I think it could be a big year for Jordan as well, in addition to whatever Osaze breakout might take place. So what do you think of that?
I think my only concern is that I haven't seen it in preseason. He did not score in preseason. I don't think he looked that amazing in that position in preseason. That's not to say that he can't fit in and figure out that position. What I will say is that in the same way that it took Jesús a minute to get settled when he was bouncing around different positions, when he did get settled, he did look like a menace. So that's my only vote against him with the Golden Boot, is that there's just a time element on that side of getting settled in this new position, getting settled in this new formation, which I just do think favors Osaze De Rosario, but I would not be shocked if Jordan puts up a normal season, which is ADP season.
If the Jordan Morris-Osaze De Rosario duo rips up MLS this year, a lot of people are going to have questions to answer. Narratives are going to be undermined. 2026 Seattle Sounders assist leader. Who is going to have the most dimes for the Sounders this year?
This is a question
We're counting
secondaries. This is a question that, frankly, is so easy to answer.
Yeah.
I don't even need to fluff it up. There is one guy on this roster who I think is one of the best players, if not the best player on the roster, doesn't get talked about enough, gets disrespected, there's just all of this written off by the national media, but I'm not writing him off because he is a number 10. That is my number 10. Albert Rusnak will have the most assists for the Seattle Sounders in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the easiest, obvious pick. That's who I had as well. But I think it is a good opportunity to underscore that I think it does get taken for granted that this guy is a guaranteed 10 and 10 every single year. He's durable every single year, plays a lot, plays all
really good
minutes
use of a
out
DP
there.
spot.
I mean, yes, like the fact that you can just write that in pen, stat sheet wise, whatever else you think about the rest of his game. I understand that some people have pivoted to like, well, yeah, he puts up stats, but he's lazy, I think, or whatever. But
whatever.
The guy is going to give you 10 plus goals and push
We're not looking
15
at stat sheet
assists
production, though.
every single year. So I think he's going to push 15 plus assists again this year. He could even push towards 20 assists if this offense has a really good year. The only other guy I think in the mix is Ferreira.
You know who my sleeper pick is Jordan Morris for most assists, especially if he plays this new position. He's been known to play a nice ball. He is a very unselfish player at times, especially with the pieces around him. I mean, laying it off to Burt, laying it off to Osaze, laying it off to another winger on that other side. I could see that also.
Cutback passes?
Cutback passes, I guess.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, the thing
Could
is,
you see it though, like Jordan with the most assists?
I could in like terms of the role that he's playing, lending itself to more playmaking and more assist production. He also, even when he did play out there earlier in his career, he wasn't like a huge assist guy. He would put up like, I feel like 4 to 6 kind of guy, and he's mostly a goal scorer, but I think there's a higher likelihood that you'll see higher assist volume from Jesús Ferreira than Jordan. Sleeper pick, Georgie Manungu, cutback passes, underlying metrics, nerd stats.
I don't know if he'll play enough, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like,
that's kind of your
if he does play enough, though, that could be a sleeper pick.
Assist per 90, guys. Assist per 90, Georgie Manungu.
Cutback passes. Best newcomer of the year for the Seattle Sounders in 2026. Caveat.
If they played under 500 minutes last season,
We're taking some liberties here. There's not
There's
not a lot of candidates. This team is returning the most minutes of any team from last year of any team in the entire league.
If you didn't really play last season, you can still be a newcomer. That's
that we were taking into account guys that didn't play last year because they were injured, and we were even talking about how Defiance guys could count for this. So again, took some liberties, but Noah, who you got?
The Seattle Sounders 2026 Best Newcomer of the Year. My pick, a guy who we have wanted on this team for a while. There's been rumors, speculation. Will he come? Will he not? Does he hate the Sounders? Does he love the Sounders? I can tell you from watching preseason, he's kind of a beast, and he's going to have a starting role now that Obed Vargas is shipped off to Atletico Madrid. Hassani Dotson is my best newcomer of the year. He is a dime disher. He has the foot of a pillow. He is a man who can move that ball, wriggle out of those problems just similar to what Obed could do. I understand he's no Obed Vargas, but got to be honest, he's going to be seeing a lot of minutes, and I think in those a lot of minutes, he's going to impress a lot of people. He is my newcomer of the year.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious pick. He was the biggest acquisition of the offseason, and, you know, we both have watched him play a lot in his career on Minnesota United, so we knew he was a pretty good player. But, yeah, I've been impressed with what I've seen from him in preseason in maybe a little bit of different ways than I was expecting. If you watch the slow-mo highlights, shout out Logan Boyd, that we got at the Louisville scrimmage, the ball that set up the penalty that Osaze drew on the opener was one of those kind of like weighted through balls that you're talking about from Hassani Dotson. And that's the type of stuff that he can do. I think people are going to enjoy watching him more than they're expecting to. He's different than Obed, but he's got attributes that can, I think, help this team in different ways than what Obed was doing. And I do have concerns, especially when they're in CCC and Leagues Cup. I feel like in those games, I was saying this a couple weeks ago, but like, I feel like one of the things about Obed is that when the competition was at its highest of the highest, he was an equalizer. When you were going up against these Liga MX teams in CCC or even in the Club World Cup, Obed was like as good as those guys or better than a lot of those guys, even on that level. So when I look at where the position group stands now with Dotson at the forefront, I just don't know yet if the team can reach that same level that it did when Obed was on the field. But that being said, I mean, I like all the tools. I like the proven track record. He's shown that can be a really good, really high-level starter in this league. And I think it's perfectly possible playing on this team with the talent that's going to be around him. I think it's definitely possible that they're going to get into these tournaments, and we're going to find that their level hasn't dropped off with Obed not in there as much as people might be fearing. But I'm going to make the argument for someone else, just, you know, for the sake of the content. And I'm going to take Paul Arriola, who is not technically a newcomer. He is in his second year on the team, but barely played last year because of his torn ACL that he suffered in CCC. And like I said, we're taking liberties, okay? I get it's not his first year on the team. But I think that this guy looked really, really good in the limited minutes that he did play last year, especially combining with Jesús Ferreira. But he, to me, we've talked about this a lot, but he's just like a Sounders prototype, which I'd never really thought about before until he got to the team. But as just like a demonic work rate player who never stops running, committed to defense, and also he's a much more polished attacking presence than I think than people might realize. Like, we've seen it throughout his career. He was tearing up Liga MX for a while before he came back to MLS. He's a very experienced U.S. national team player as well. So the pedigree is all there. I trust that he's been working really hard at rehabbing, so I'm not all that concerned about his health. I think he's going to come back and be able to reclaim his previous level. And I think that's going to have a big impact on this team. He was set to be a really integral member of this team last year, and he got injured. But I think this is the year where we get to the end of it and we're like, damn, like Paul Arriola really he's stepped up.
No, I like that idea. I like that call. I am a big fan of Paul Arriola. I've been a secret FC Dallas fan over here, but yeah, I'm interested to see what his role is. I think
apparently left back.
Yeah, you know, he's played 30 minutes this preseason. They're gonna ramp him back up, and he looks fit. He looks healthy. He looks excited to play. He's a great guy. I think to your point of a Sounders archetype player, the thing that they always preach and they're always talking about is just the fact that he is a Sounder through and through, exactly like you were saying. The Sounders emphasize this, personality and this, kind of mentality that Sounders players have that they really want to see. And honestly, yeah, that's Paul Arriola. He's a really great interview. He's a really kind person. He's the type of guy to see, he sees a reporter at training, asks about your family, all of that kind of stuff. And really fits in with this team. I think that he is going to have a role. I'm interested to see what that role is this season.
Getting Jesús Ferreira and Paul Arriola in the same trade, that was sick.
That was sick.
That was sick.
That was sick.
I really hope that they get to really show what type of impact that I know that they can have. And I think this is the year where they're going to really step up and show that. Unsung hero. No.
Yeah.
Who you got for the unsung hero for 2026? What I had in mind for this one is the guy that people might not think about or talk about that much, but then when it's all said and done, you're like, man, when the chips were down and the cards were on the table, or when we needed him to step up, this guy really came through, and maybe doesn't get the credit or the recognition for it, but we're going to give them that credit and recognition.
My 2026 unsung hero of the year for the Seattle Sounders is the one and only Paul Arriola. I'm not even going to give him an introduction because that would be singing too much, frankly, and we are unsinging here. He is a great player. I think that he is going to play more of a side role, something that maybe he may not start all the time. He may be coming in to close out matches. He may be the secondary left back behind Nuhu. But I think that he is going to have some big moments, some big performances, and I could really see him having an impact when the Sounders need it the most.
I like it. I got a kind of out there one for this one. I'm going to go a little outside the box, so just stay with me. All right, this is what's going to happen this year. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of situation like there was last year where they're going to be strapped for depth at center back. There's going to be an injury. Someone's going to be away for some reason. And then someone else is going to roll their ankle. And then all of a sudden it's going to be oh my God, we got no center backs. What are we going to do? And what they're going to do is they're going to put in UW's very own Ryan Saylor, off-season arrival from Inter Miami, and he's going to do the job, and the team's going to take a couple of results that it seemed like they wouldn't, because everyone was like, where are all the CBs? They're all out. What are we going to do? We got to put Saylor out there, and he's going to come through, and we're going to get to the end of the season and be like, remember when Ryan Saylor stepped up? Unsung hero of 2026, similar to the Kim Ki-hee arc or the John Bell arc from last year.
Yeah, J Bell won last year for unsung hero, so I could see that. That's a good arc. He hasn't played in preseason, and he's injured, and we'll see how many minutes he gets.
This is going to be late in the season, all right?
Yeah.
That's going to make the story.
As long as he plays a similar number of minutes to Pedro de la Vega, he can qualify.
That's going to
Pedro de la Vega Unsung Hero Award.
That's going to make the story even sweeter when he comes through. Number of trophies won in 2026 by the Seattle Sounders. How many and which one?
This is a tough question. There is a lot of strong teams playing in all of the competitions that the Sounders are facing. You have a juggernaut in Lionel Messi, the Barca boys, and their additions of every young South and Central American player you have ever seen. How many international slots do they have? How is it legal? We don't need to know. Ask Andrew Wiebe. But here's what we do know. The Sounders in the West, their biggest competition, LAFC. Gotta be honest, I think the Sounders can beat them. Sun, Bawanga, the Demons, we can scare them off. What I don't think we can do is Concacaf Champions Cup. What I don't know if we can do again, Leagues Cup. So what I'm going for is a late in the season, getting hot, classic Brian Schmetzer, Seattle Sounders win. Pedro de la Vega is back. He's playing on the Sounders again. Maybe he's 60 fit. He's coming in. He's cutting it up. And we are winning. Another star, another MLS Cup. 2026 MLS Cup champions, Seattle Sounders.
Homer pick, but I like it. I said one trophy as well, and I had not thought through which one in as much detail as you had. I was thinking, I think they're going to get one of MLS Cup, CCC, or Leagues Cup, and I have them winning CCC. The rationale being that's what I said on KJR spur of the moment the other day, and also it's kind of the one that I want them to win the most. But I guess that's an interesting question. If you could pick them winning CCC or MLS Cup this year, which one would you pick?
That's a good question. I think David Goss said this the other day that CCC doesn't matter anymore because an MLS team already won it. And yes, that was super fun. And yes, it'd be super sick to win that. But I kind of want that third star. And I think with MLS Cup too, like I've even seen this narrative start to fester over the off season, which is that, it's now been like 6 years since Seattle's won MLS Cup. It's kind of unambitious to not win MLS Cup since 2019. Like it's 2026 now. They had a whole.
I think it's a little bit of a misleading point to make if you're not going to mention that since that 2019 MLS Cup, they also became the first team to ever win Concacaf Champions Cup, and they also won Leagues Cup last year by taking down the literal number one greatest player of all time,
MLS Cup winners,
and 4 of his 43-year-old colleagues,
correct,
one of whom crashed out and spit on a Seattle Sounders team staffer because he was so upset about how badly he got beat.
Yeah.
So,
and also we haven't addressed this. Leo Messi, you're a fraud, you're a fake, you're not real, you'll never leave MLS is what he said to Obed Vargas. Hey buddy, guess who's playing in La Liga and you're not? I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, he did reportedly say that to Obed, and now Obed is on Atletico Madrid.
That's all I got to say. Pedro de la Vega, you're next, Argentinian national team.
But anyway, what I was going to say is that I think I would take I don't know. I'm just a CCC head.
I love CCC. I just
I don't know.
I would prefer
even
MLS
with
Cup.
Yeah, even with MLS Cup, they haven't got one in a while, and you kind of want to buck the narrative of having not got one. I think actually there's a pretty good argument that
I just think that's more competitive. Like I literally think that Major League Soccer is more competitive than Liga MX teams right now. Dude,
based on how CCC is started.
Cruz Azul is the best club in North America according to multiple rankings, ELO, whatever. And guess who beat them 7-0? I don't even rate them anymore. I don't even rate Liga MX anymore. Half of the Eastern Conference, which is like a bum conference in MLS, is better. That's all I'm saying.
I think, might be overstating it a little bit, but watching these first few CONCACAF Champions Cup games, it's kind of not looking great for Liga MX so far.
It's not.
2026 Seattle Sounders Defender of the Year, who you got?
There is one man who I have put so much faith into, who I have called one of the best Sounders. And I think that he's getting his flowers. There's national pundits bringing up his name saying, I think this guy is one of the most underrated players in the league. And I'm not going to underrate him. I am going to give him Defender of the Year. The one, the only, Alex Roldan. He is a goal contribution machine. He's a guy who can play center back, CDM, left back. God knows he can play goalkeeper. So all I'm going to say is he's going to repeat for me, Defender of the Year, Alex Roldan. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it was a polarizing call we made to give him the Lobbing Scorchers Defender of the Year last year, but I stand by that call we made. I think that's going to stand the test of time. But again, in the spirit of the content and the discourse,
you're picking New
oh man, I should have.
You know what? Let's make the argument before you give yours. Let's make the argument for New Who, because I think they're actually People say I'm a Nuhu hater. People say you're a Nuhu hater, even though or you're the Nuhu
I'm
defender.
the defender, I guess.
I'm the hater, whatever. I think there is an argument to be made that he could have a big season. He was
there's
dishing
definitely
some
an argument,
dimes.
yeah.
He was looking better. He's the captain of the Cameroonian national team. He's talking just as much shit to Louisville City players as I've seen him talk to MLS players. He's on one. He's who knows, but he is a veteran on this squad at this point. Do you see a possibility of him being a Defender of the Year candidate? And what would he have to do to get there? Not crash out?
You mean MLS Defender
No.
of the Year or Sounders Defender of the
yeah.
Year? What would he have to do to get there? I mean, I don't like the thing is part of my thing with it is I feel like it gets taken for granted a lot of what he does because, he is a defender and he's not a defender that is known for being especially good two-way threat. He's not necessarily your modern attacking left back, but I still think, when push comes to shove and you got to go against these guys, you got to go against the demonic duo of Denny Bouanga and Son Heung-min. You got to go against Leo Messi and Herman Bartherame now and the Barca boys. You got to go against Gabriel Peck and Joey Paints. You got to go against these guys. I still think Nuhu that's who I want out there defending those guys more than any of the other options that they have. Also, certainly now with the trade of RBW. So, I mean, I think what he has to do is just go out there and do what he normally does. Go up against the other team's best attackers every single week, ball out, show out, do his thing for Cameroon where he's been the captain, and then just a little bit of an improvement on what he already improved on last year, which was his attacking. 4 goal contributions, all comps for the guy last year. All right, and I understand. Jovan Jones, he is not, but that was a career high. All right, he had 2 goals.
He had 2 goals.
He had 2 goals last year. The assists were like pretty good assists too. Like the one in Atlanta was like that was a good assist at a really important high leverage moment in the game. And then also a couple of the dimes he's hit in preseason suggest that
he has an assist in preseason.
He had the assist on one of the Osaze goals, and then the dimes he was hitting to Jordan in the Louisville game, I thought were looking pretty good. I think they actually have kind of a better connection there than they did the last time Jordan was playing that position. So if he takes any sort of step in that regard, which I understand we've been saying that for like 9 years, but if he takes any sort of step in that regard, then he would have a case for it, especially because he genuinely did take a step in that regard last year.
No, he did.
No one's going to want to admit it, but like, because the whole narrative has to be like, oh, anytime Nuhu's an attacker, anytime he's bombing forward, it's going to be a black hole and like he contributes nothing from there. Last year, he contributed kind of something a little bit.
There was a glimmer.
There was like a
there
glimmer.
Was a sparkle.
So maybe that glimmer turns
gold?
into
maybe.
But no, I mean,
I have actionable items. I have 3 actionable items that will put him in my contention.
Not getting 7 red cards.
That's okay. Number 1, I want 0 red cards. If you get 1 red card, you're out.
He went 6 or 7 years without getting one, so we know he can do that.
Yeah. Number 2, 5 goal contributions. 1 more than your career high. Just one more. I think it's possible. Number 3, I want a shutout against LAFC. If you can give me those 3 things, and you're playing in that LAFC match, I'll give him a shout. I will give him a God-honest shout. That's my take.
If they can shut out LAFC, that would be one of the most monumental accomplishments of the season. But that's like, I'm looking forward to those matchups, like seeing how he and the whole defense stack up against those guys. I'll tell you what, watching what LAFC was doing in CCC last night, it gave me a greater appreciation for the type of stuff that Nuhu and Jackson and Yamar and Alex on the back line have to deal with every week. Those Honduran guys trying to defend Denny Bouanga and Son Heung-min,
gave up.
It did not go very well. So
No.
the fact that that Seattle's backline goes out there every week against the best attackers in MLS, and most of the time they hold it to like 1 to 2 goals, worst case scenario. Seattle's not a team that you see get bammed on for 3, 4, 5 goals all that often. I appreciate them for that. Like, yes, there are games where they get bammed on and they give up a couple, but for the most part, like they're going up against the best of the best in the league every single week, and they do pretty well. So,
Who's your defender of the year?
I took Jackson Reagan. I think this could be a big year. I think this could be
Progressive
a
passing
big year.
legend.
He is already one of
Stats love
the best passing CBs in MLS. I think he's started to get recognition over the last 2-3 years as one of the better all around CBs in MLS overall on any team. I think last year, especially towards the end of the year, he started maybe not reaching like the Christian level of understanding in soccer IQ I was talking about that you hit like later in your 20s and your early 30s. But he's like, he's 25, 26 now. He has a ton of games under his belt. He's starting for this team every single game when he's healthy. And I think this is the year where you could even see him vault into the league defender of the year race more so than he's gotten shouts for that in the past, but has never really been in serious consideration. I think this year he's going to be in serious consideration. All right, next up, we have got breakout young player. Who you got?
This is a tough one. There is a lot of really good talent, young talent on this roster. There's a lot of good young talent on the Defiance. It's what the Seattle Sounders are. They are not a club that's going to go out and sign 1 billion people, but they are going to sign 1 billion kids from the academy. So who is my young player of the year? Someone who might surprise you, Ari, but someone who I've been impressed with in his limited preseason minutes.
Okay.
Sebastian Gomez.
Okay, same one.
Better known as Seba. And here's why. I just like what I see. He's 19 years old? He's a kid, but he looks good. And that's just my take. That's it. It's very simple. I'm throwing a dart, I'm rolling the dice, and I'm gambling on someone who I have seen very limited minutes of, but the coaching staff seems to really like.
Yeah.
And if they like him and they trust him, he's going to play. And that is how you break out.
I'm really excited to watch him play. Like, I haven't seen him play all that much either, but every time I've asked around, I hear kind of similar stuff about just kind of the flair he plays with and kind of just how much fun he has playing the game. That is one thing I have noticed from the times that I have kind of honed in on him and watched him is like he looks like he's having the freaking time of his life every time he's out on the field. And that it's fun to watch someone who's having that much fun. And he's a Clint Dempsey tries shit kind of player, which is also a lot of fun. And so, we'll see. Like this will be a good little test of. We've talked a lot about how it's like 6 and 8 FC. They don't really develop attacking players at the same clip that they develop these midfielders. Let's see if they can hit on one here. It'll be fun to watch. But that being said, I think everyone knows who I'm taking here. I got Snyder B. I just think what we saw from him last year was so impressive. Even like the totality of his game was very impressive, but honestly, just the raw fact of scoring 2 MLS goals in your first 3 games, like that is like Obed didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Josh Atencio didn't do that. Danny Leyva, I don't think. Well, Danny Leyva got 1 MLS goal, but the oligarchs took it away from him. But like the point is, like scoring goals in a first team game is one of the biggest kind of hurdles any young player is going to need to get through. Like there's always so much of like a process to that. Usually Snyder B just slotted in there and was like, yeah, I'm already going to just,
no big deal.
I'm already going to bam. And it didn't even look like it was that hard for him. He makes the game look easy. Like he really does. So,
and he plays confidently. He plays calmly. Like he looks like he's meant to be there, which is insane.
Exactly.
He is meant to be there. Frankly, he is.
This might be a hot take, but like he's the player I'm like most excited to watch this year. Like,
I wanted to give you. I wanted to give you the spotlight on Snyder here. Like I am so bought in just as much as you are with the Snyder Brunel train. Dude is insanely good, and I am begging for a good complement of minutes because, dude, he might just be the next Obed. I think I even said on Soccer Wise, I was like, or maybe no, I said it on KJR. I was like, he might even sell for more than Obed. He might go to Barcelona. He might, you know what I mean? Like he could be the next guy, and he's the heir apparent.
Yeah, and we'll see. You know, I don't want to get like over our skis too much, which I realize my whole take
that's
on
our
him
whole, that's our whole bit.
Yeah,
though.
it is.
That's our whole bit.
I am getting over my skis, and
we will cope and rationalize.
Yeah. But like,
we believe in it.
In all seriousness, yeah, I genuinely believe in the player, in the prospect. Like, I think what he showed last year was that impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to predict where their Seattle Sounders are going to finish in the West in 2026 and their point total. Noah, where you got the Rave Green finishing?
The Rave Green, the Seattle Sounders. Where will they finish in the West in the 2026 season? It is simple, Ari. It is where they always finish. 5th place on 52 points. They're going to drop some really stupid games. Brian Schmetzer's going to sit in that press conference and he's going to name specific games. He's going to click that pen. But at the end of the day, they are going to go on a playoff run, like I said, and win MLS Cup. I think hopefully they place higher than 5th, but I'm just going to go conservative because, frankly, it's anywhere between 3rd and 5th every single year.
Yeah. I said 4th under pretty much the same rationale. They just, for whatever reason, they just always tend to finish in that area. I think it's even more so than like dropping stupid points or blowing a lot of leads again this year. I think that their point total is going to be more like high 50s because like when this team plays in Concacaf Champions Cup, they go for it. When they play in Leagues Cup, they go for it. They don't take any half measures with that stuff. And sometimes when you do that, you drop some points in league play. That's just how it goes. I think this team honestly has shown a pretty impressive ability to, especially last year, stay afloat even when they're making runs in these tournaments. But it's hard to finish as a top 2 seed when you're going as hard as they do for the other tournaments they play in. It just is. So that's why I think 4th, 5th, 3rd, if you're feeling real optimistic, that sounds about right. If they do get a top 2 seed in the league, that could mean that their CCC and Leagues Cup runs didn't go very well. So,
or they're just playing out of their mind.
It would be really nice one of these years for them to just have one of those 65 plus point seasons where they're contending for the Shield. That just seems to be not usually how it works out. And for me, if they finish between 3rd and 5th, but they win one of CCC or Leagues Cup or MLS Cup, I don't like. It doesn't bother me that much that they're not up at 65, 66 points if they're taking a trophy.
If they win the Shield but don't win any other trophies this season, does that feel successful to you?
See, I don't really think so.
See, I'm the same way. I agree.
I don't think so. You won individual games across the season, but like I'm a
This is America. This is America. We do tournaments in America. That's what matters.
It would if they win the Shield, but they don't win. If they win the Shield, but they don't win any other trophy, I think it would soften the blow for me a lot. Like, yeah, okay, they didn't win a trophy, and that sucks. We both picked them to win at least one trophy this year. But,
I guess they
did have the best regular season point total. And I could see myself coping and rationalizing that, like, for sure.
It definitely doesn't hit as well as CCC, MLS Cup, or frankly anything. Just frankly any other trophy, even Open Cup.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right. Next up, we are going to get into our player-specific predictions. We can kind of rapid fire these. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on them. Basically, the idea with these is we're just going to be guessing numbers, so like goal totals for a specific player, and then we're just going to keep them chambered all year and keep track of which of these predictions are looking good and looking bad. And at the end of the year, we'll take a look and see if either of us got close to hitting on any of these.
Before we do that, we're going to take
another ad break. Don't skip the ads. We'll be right back.
Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get. Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesús Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Welcome back from the ad break, which you did not skip any. Player-specific predictions. Noah, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Let's go. Jesús Ferreira goals. Let's start with that. How many goals exactly? You've predicted the MVP. You've predicted the breakout. How many goals does that entail for Jesús?
I'm going to go with 13 goals for Jesús Ferreira. I don't think that that's impossible. It's a lot more than he scored.
8 more than he scored last year.
But
and this is all comps, by the way.
That's the yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that seems to settle right about where I think he's going to land.
So, just out of curiosity, for him to be an MVP candidate, how many assists do you think that he needs to have go along with
I think he's
that?
going to have 20 goal contributions.
13 and 7?
Sure.
See, I'm not sure that's enough to be like in the MVP. Like,
Are
league.
you talking about league,
I'm talking
or are you
league.
talking?
But didn't you say?
Yeah, no. I thought you were talking about Sounders MVP.
I was, but I didn't you say that that you thought he could make?
I do think he can be an MVP.
Okay.
So
okay.
but I think if you want to be league MVP, you probably got to push that goal total more. I'm just being realistic as to what I think his final goal numbers will be.
I think his assist number is going to be higher. He was at.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was just saying, you were asking me what it would need to be to.
Oh,
to
okay.
Be,
I see.
I think 20 is your minimum to even be in the conversation to win it.
Okay, so how many? What I was asking is how many do you think he's going to get?
How many do I think he's going to get assists? I think it'll be at 10 and 10 or more.
13 and 10 plus.
13 and 13. Why not?
Okay.
Lucky number 26.
Okay. See, I could see a world where he puts a stat line like usually the MVP's stat lines, and obviously I think Messi's just gonna have like 39 and 24 and get MVP again.
Yeah.
But like the MVPs, it's usually their stats are like 15 kind of area minimum. But I think with Jesús, if he's in that vicinity, like you're talking about, like 13 and 14 or something like that, and then also there's a lot of team success.
Yeah.
I think like the pundits and the analysts, they give credit to like all around game and all around contribution and like the actual effect that you have on winning outside of the stats. It's kind of can be like both things in the criteria, and I think he'll have like a great case in that regard because he is such a well-rounded
I don't think
player.
it's impossible for him to have 20 and 20 either. Like
that. Oh man, if he does that,
I don't know. I don't think it's impossible. Maybe it's insane, but I don't think it's impossible.
I see it. I had him at 10 goals. I felt like that kind of matches with doubles what he had last year, but allows me to not predict something that's like unreasonable
that's
or
kind of why I was at
crazy.
13.
Yeah. So I got him. I think he's gonna come out like around 10 and 10 all comps. Could be like 12 and 10 or 10 and 13, like similar area to what you have. But I think double digit goals. I think he's gonna get to double digit goals this year. So next up, we're just guessing some of these attackers' goal totals here. How many have you got for Jordan Morris?
I have 8 goals for Jordan Morris.
Ooh, okay, that seems a little low.
I mean, I just don't know what position he's going to play. And like I said, the same rationale for my concern with his ability in that winger, false winger, secondary attacker role. I'm just not so sure.
It is kind of tough to predict without knowing what exactly is going to go on with this Osaze thing and where he's going to play. I got him at double that. I got him at 16. I mean, I picked him as my Sounders Golden Boot winner, so I had to give him some kind of high number. But I got him at 16. I think that Jordan's not like the highest volume goal scorer. He's never been like a Wando type of guy that's going to get you 20 to 25. But what he is going to do for sure is get you 10 to 15 if he plays his full complement of minutes. He is going to get you his 10 to 15, and he's going to give you a very well-rounded game on top of that. And that's where his value comes from to me more than volume goal scoring. Like he hasn't in his career shown to be that like 20, I'm going to get you 23 goals type of guy. You know, maybe this is the year that he does that. There's been a few times where I felt like he was about to do that and then he got injured. So maybe this is the year, but I think 16 is a good total where he can make sense as my golden boot pick, but like I don't have to predict anything that's like crazy outside his career norms. Last time he played a full season, he had 18 all comps. So I think he'll be in that area. Curious to see what you have for this next one. What do you got for Osaze?
Osaze De Rosario, my golden boot winner, will have 15 goals.
15. All right. See, man, like I had him at 12, but I feel like I went conservative on that. Like
I went conservative. I'm conservative on all of these because I feel like it's a plus or minus 2 on every category in a sense. You know, when I'm guessing these, I'm trying to get like kind of around where I think they're gonna land.
Also like I don't want it to be a situation where like we're so hyped on the preseason he just had. We're hyping him up so much, and then
we haven't seen a single game, Ari. This is supposed to be irrational.
Yeah, no, and that's
people. I'm sure
that's
will
fair.
take
like
these.
I guess I put 12, but I wanted to go even more irrational because
go with 8. Go with 8.
He's looked so good in preseason.
Go with 8. Go with 6. Go with 2. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you want me to go more conservative?
No, I'm just saying. Someone's gonna clip this and send it back to us. Be like, "See, you don't know ball. You said Osaze De Rosario would score a goal and he didn't."
Man, I could see a situation based on the preseason that he just had where he takes like a real star turn. Not necessarily predicting that, but that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Be tight. That's what I'm rooting for.
All right, this one was a subject of
you should go first
contentious debate earlier. How many minutes will Pedro de la Vega play? I put 1,800 because
Which, can I say something? That's the total number of minutes he's played in his entire Sounders career.
I think that he's going to come back from this busted kneecap. His luck is going to even out, and the reason that he's not going to hit 2K is because it is going to take a while to ramp him up, and you're going to be crashing out and giving all kinds of commentary about that. But then
I'm not even going to think about it
once they do,
because he won't be playing.
Once they do ramp him up, he is going to be so good that he's going to be a starter again, and he's going to get up to 1,800.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. That is the entirety of the complement of minutes he's ever played for the Seattle Sounders. That makes no sense to me. I will go with what he played last season or similar to it. I'm going to go 1,200 minutes, and I think that may even be pushing it. But there are a lot of competitions. If the Sounders go deep in Leagues Cup again, I think that there's an opportunity for him to get minutes. So I'm going to go exactly what he did last year, which is 1,200 minutes, which I think is not enough and not good enough, but that's where I think it'll land.
Next up, Snyder B starts. How many do you think he's going to make this year?
So it's an interesting one because especially if Cristian's fatigued after the World Cup, if Cristian's Achilles thing happened, you never know. There's not a ton of... He's the next man up. He's the next man up. So I'm going to go with 7 starts.
7. I got him at 10. I think the appearances is going to be a lot higher. I think he's going to be coming in as a sub a lot. So I think it'll look something like 10 starts, but like mid-20s appearances.
Which is the thing is, Cristian Roldan is going to play every match of the season. Brian Spencer doesn't rotate, and Brian Spencer does not rotate his pivots. So that's why I'm going a little lower than 10.
He is going to start every single game, but Schmetz also really likes Snyder. So I think he might be more inclined to give Cristian a rest by just subbing him out a little earlier. Maybe that's what I would hope for. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Snyder will get time.
They got to do something this year to like manage Cristian's workload a little bit.
I think they're just going to run him. I think Cristian's going to hit 8K minutes, dude. I think he's going to play double the amount of minutes that Pedro de la Vega plays.
You're probably right. Nikola Petkovic games played.
Interesting. Okay. I went with 12.
12? All right. What's your sort of...
I don't know. I just have only seen him play with the reserves, and when I've seen him play, he hasn't been bad. He scored a goal in that second match.
He did.
But I think his integration and ramp up with the team, it just might take a minute. People seem to like him from what I hear. He's a flyer though, and I don't know. 12 seems right to me.
If he only gets in 12 games, wouldn't that be a sign that it's like, this is not that?
I don't know. Ryan Kent had like 12 games too, and I thought he was awesome.
Well, but that was injury related. Like you think, like
there was definitely injury too. Yeah.
Like Petkovic, assuming full health.
Are we counting like 10-minute appearances though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then maybe higher, but like I don't know. I'm gonna stick with 12.
I get it. It's hard to like predict a large number with that when we know literally nothing. All we know about him is what we've seen in very limited preseason action, and that also Charlotte FC got him for a bunch of money and then didn't really play him and was fine with loaning him inside the league.
Correct.
So with all that knowledge, I went a lot higher than you. I said 23, taking into account that it's all comps, and I think that they have a lot of incentive to give him minutes to find out if he's worth this with this flyer that they took on him. So I think there is going to be a baked in role for him from that perspective, unless he like is totally like bombing at training. Like, remember I was thinking about like range of outcomes for Petkovic. Who was that guy? Cecchini.
Oh, yeah.
That guy was sick. He rolled up with like decent hype and decent pedigree and then fell so far out of favor so fast. I don't think he ever played.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if he
might have got in like 1 or 2 games, but like that was probably the biggest whiff I've ever seen. So like, not to put that on Petkovic, like he's not in the Cecchini category yet, but like, we've seen it happen. There's all ranges of outcomes with this, and that is one of them. Like, yeah, we have seen it happen. But I said 23 appearances, but 8 starts. So like the starts are going to be just kind of spot starts, and then there is going to be a lot of like substitute appearances, I think. All right, last one here, and then we can wrap it up. This one's just for fun. RBW minutes for Nashville SC. What type of role do you think he's going to play for them more broadly?
I mean, I don't know. I think he's going to start out as sort of a substitute player, wing back. I think they're going to take some time to figure out what they have in the player. But you don't spend $800K up to $1 million if you're not going to get a player who you want to see what they're up to. So I went with 1,300 minutes. I think he's going to play more than Pedro de la Vega.
I'm in that same area. I have him at 1,150 is what I put. I think in that like 1,000 area.
The thing is like this one's impossible because he has been there for a day and a half. Like if he breaks out, has great moments, he could jump.
He could be a starter.
But like he also might not be. Like that's where are they going to play him? Like this one's truly this is a fucking dart throw.
I am very curious to see what role they have for him, whether they see him as a fullback or a winger. My gut feeling is that they're not gonna fullback it. Like they're gonna try and turn him into like a pure attacking player, which I think is probably the right call. Like I feel like the best stuff I ever saw from him was when he was doing winger stuff more than fullback stuff, which I understand there's a lot of overlaps in that skill set, but like it just seemed like he was much better at the winger part of it than the fullback part of it. So all right, that's all I had for the 2026 Lobbing Scorchers predictions topics. So I think we can call it right there for this episode.
One announcement. Quick announcement.
Yeah.
We are giving away one of the new kits, one of the new Sounders kits, the Evergreen State kit, in partnership with Sound at Heart. If you want to enter to win, it's completely free, no payment necessary. LobbingScorchers.com/giveaway. All the info's there. You can do all of that. Go check it out. Super fun. Opportunity to get one of the authentic kits in your size sent right to you if you win. So, opportunity there.
We're going to call it right there. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Sub to the channel, rate 5 stars, follow on Instagram, follow on TikTok, write us reviews, LobbingScorchers.com/sauce. Season's getting started. Lots of fun stuff, lots of great content coming up this year. So
we'll see you Sunday for the post-match.
We will see you Sunday. First post-match live of the season. Until then, we out.
Peace.